Blessed are those, or happy are those, who hunger and thirst after righteousness. The kingdom of God is not eating and drinking, it's righteousness. God counting us righteous, and then us seeking to live righteous. It's also peace, which means security, safety, harmony, a state, to use a big word, a state of tranquility, inner peace. This is something, truly, this peace that Paul's writing about is something that only a Christian whose faith is in Jesus and what he's done and knows that because of Jesus and his work, God is totally for me. This is the peace that can only come through the gospel, through trusting in what Jesus has done for you and resting in his perfect work in your place. You can know every second of the day. Friends, hear me. Every one of you hear me. You can know right now that God is 100% on your side, for you, loves you, accepts you, has promised he will never throw you into condemnation, though you and I deserve it. You can have that deep inner peace that only comes from the gospel. You can have that now, right this second. You don't have to wait. You can trust, embrace, cling to Jesus in your place and what he's done in his perfect life, in his death on the cross, and his resurrection from the dead. If you cling to Jesus alone, you can have a peace that surpasses all understanding. And Christians who have that peace, if you're a Christian, you do. Though you may have inner turmoil, you may have bouts of depression, you may have doubts, we will always get returned by God to that, knowing I have peace with God through Jesus. And Christians who have that then live out in their life in a peaceful way, seeking to be at harmony, at rest, at peace with other Christians. This definitely applies to this context because he's saying we have peace with God, and then that therefore must lead for us to be peacemakers. And he is not talking about, here's a danger of that. He's not talking about us elevating peace and seeking to just have, we don't have any issues with one another. We don't ever speak in a way that would be sharp. He's not saying that we would elevate peace to the level that we would cry out like the false prophets in Ezekiel's day and say, peace, when we have no peace. He's not saying we seek peace above all, so therefore, those who teach a false gospel, man, we just all need to get along. Like, just have peace with those who teach a false gospel. If you think that's what Paul's saying, go read the first part of the book of Galatians and see how Paul says, if anyone preaches another gospel than what I've preached to you, let him go to hell. Let him be accursed. Let him be damned. Paul did not seek peace above all things. He was thrown in prison a lot because he wouldn't stop preaching the gospel. But he was striving after living peaceably, especially with other Christians. So we don't elevate that to the point that we just say, oh, we'll never critique anything and we'll cry out like the false prophets, peace, peace. When Ezekiel says, when there is no peace, it's a lie. But what it should look like is we are striving to be in harmony with one another because God has made peace with us. So far as it depends on you, Paul says in Romans 12:8, live peaceably with all.